players have to accept it. And I think Nedum's right. And the first player that comes to mind is the club captain, Jamal Lascelles, who's been in and out of the side. He's caused Eddie Howe one or two problems. There's a little bit of friction going on between the club captain and the manager. So it's up to him now. He's got to pull his weight. He's got a serious player in Dan Burn to try and either play with, try and dislodge Fabian Schär. The competition's there. For Guimaraes, he'll obviously go straight into the side, and Chris Wood leading the line. Trippier at right back. Target will go straight into the side at left back. So it puts people like Matt Ritchie, it puts people, like Paul Dummett under a little bit of pressure, because what are you going to do? You're going to walk into training on day one and you're going to see Matt Target at left back and think, well, that's me done. That's not normally the attitude you have. Yeah, well, maybe, but that's not the way professional footballers are built, or how the good players are not built that way. They say, right, listen, I had it at Everton, Dan, when Walter Smith was the manager, and he signed John Collins and he signed Olivier Dacour, two really, really top players. And the manager got me in his office and he turned around and said, just to let you know, Don, you can phone your agent. He went, I've signed Olivier Dacour, who was a brilliant player. John Collins in from Monaco, outstanding player. When you can move, you're not going to fit in my side. And I went, I'm not moving. And he went, what do you mean? And he said, well, I've signed two players. You're not going to play. I went, no. I said, I'll back myself. I said, I'll back myself to be better than John Collins. And I'll back myself to be better than Olivier Dacour. And secretly, when I went out the room, he loved it, because he knew he had a player that wasn't going to take the easy way out and go, oh, okay, boss, I'll just call my agent and move. And within a couple of months, he ended up playing the three of us in midfield. Off to Sunderland. No, within 2 or 3 months, I was in the side and I convinced him, because my attitude was right. I didn't just give in.
See, I think this fascinates me, and I think people who haven't played at this at any sort of level, because on the outside looking in, you think, like, mentally, that is such a strain. Like, if they bring in a new goalkeeper, which you had, David James coming in, or whoever it might be.
That's the culture of the game. First of all, Newcastle down there for a reason, because the players aren't good enough, and even when you are in that dress, you know that. And you know, to get yourself out, you have two choices. Players come in and we stay up, or we get relegated. And in all honesty, even as a player, you're thinking, I'd prefer to see new faces come in and we stay up, and then we fight for those spots, as Don was pointing out. The other thing too is, that's the nature of the game. You've been competing for one spot from the earliest days of playing football at under 10 or whatever it is. That there are always a number of players competing for that very same spot, and you've been able to beat others out. Moving clubs we've all been that new face at some point, unless you come through the academy, of course. But you've all been that new face arriving at a new club for that first day of training. So you know what it's like, and that's just the nature of the game. And if that gets to you, you'll find yourself out of the game quicker than you are able to stay.
And the spotlight even more so, surely, on goalkeepers, in that there is only there's only one position, but you're training together every single day in this kind of unique bubble.
Yeah, and
so when you're sat on the bench, are you rooting for them?
I'm rooting for them. That's when I'm on the bench. I think my role is to get the best out of them, get the best out of the starting goalkeeper. But I have been in situations where the other person hasn't felt that about me, or you've heard stories about that with other goalkeepers. I remember when I arrived, what was it, West Ham, talking to Les Sealey, he was talking about two goalkeepers who wouldn't even kick the ball at each other and to do handling to warm each other up. They just wouldn't.
Wow.
So, which that makes for a tough position for everybody.
Right.
Because you thrive in that competition too. As much as it's parts and parts, you thrive in that competition. You need that competition, and when it's that way, you suffer as a player, or in this case, as a goalkeeper.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.